Mixing and mastering pro quality electronic music is no longer a contest of who has the most expensive gear or studio. Absolutely anyone can easily release great sounding music. But why is it that most talented producers still actually struggle to nail the mix and master for their own songs? Or worse, they put out decent sounding stuff, but it takes hours and hours and hours in the studio to make it happen. So in this video, I'll be revealing how you can both mix and master pro level tracks in under 20 minutes, without having to export all your stems ever again. This is the secret behind how I've been able to self-release my way to just about 8 million streams and landed my music on massive playlists like New Music Friday Dance and New Music Friday Canada. You can grab today's template and an extended uncut mixing and mastering video by visiting the link on screen now or in the description. You'll also get instant access to over 45 pro project files based on songs in the Beatport top charts. Now, what you're about to watch is actually part 2 in a series of videos breaking down my modernized mixing and mastering process. So make sure you've seen this video first. It'll show you a special mixing technique that you should be using while first building out your song's layers. It'll set you up perfectly so that when you're ready to finish your songs and get that final pro polish from mixing and mastering, it'll take you just 20 minutes or less by following what you're about to learn in this video. But for now, let's jump into a Zoom call where I did a deep dive on my special 20-minute mixing and mastering process so you can get professional results with way less guesswork. Generally, the idea that I do at this stage is make sure everything's grouped. So usually vocals is in a group. I like having the kick separated out from the drums lately, because when we're doing compression on the drums, the kick is so loud that it's like kind of messes, like dominates the compression settings a lot. So I like having it separate. Drums all grouped,
Yeah,
bass.
a
This,
lot of mixing videos that I've watched, they do this. And actually, one
yeah,
of my good friends who taught me a lot, he tells me never on the same settings because you kind of it's what you said, like the kick takes over the pressure settings, and also you kill the kick somehow to bring it down to the level of the hats and whatever. Like you
yeah.
compress it down to that level, which it's not supposed to be because it's a main element of this genre,
I,
let's say, or
I really
electronic in
liked
general.
how you said that. Like from my understanding, there's kind of three thoughts on it. One is kick out of the drum group. The other one is kick in the drum group. And the third one that I see a lot of people do is kick and bass in the same group. Um,
Yeah,
I've
also,
honestly
yeah.
found exactly like what you were saying is personally, through my experimentation with it, and maybe it's just like how my ear likes the sound of it. Whenever I put the kick in any other group, it sounds like crap and the kick gets like ruined in some way. I feel like because it's such an important element of dance music, just having it like loud and proud on its own channel just seems to be what I prefer. Um,
Agreed, agreed.
yeah, but then bass on its own, all the melodic stuff on its own, and then all the effects stuff on its own. Effects could maybe go in the melodic, but we'll see. So then what I'll usually do is let's start with the drums. Oh, I don't have there we go. So what I'm usually doing is just some compression and some clipping. And the main thing with these two really is the compressor a little bit for kind of like cohesion a little bit. But for both of them, the main thing is we're reducing the dynamic range so that the signal of the drums is a lot more stable and consistent. There's less peaks. And since there's less peaks, there's less dynamic range, and that's going to give us allow us to have a louder master without too much like clipping and distortion, like more like distorting and oversaturating. So
Okay.
the process that I do, and also I should mention, like if you notice, like I didn't even talk about compression at all until this point. Compression is definitely more complicated, and like we were talking about a lot of like the samples and everything that we get are like already compressed and doing good. The only instance I might use a compressor is on like a, say if a vocal is like too, it's wavering, it doesn't sound like a nice consistent sound. I might throw like a compressor on there to try to make that sound more consistent, but that's really it. Um, so for the way that I do this, it's just compressor and clipper usually. So what I would do is I have this compressor that I like to use right now. It's called the underscore compressor by Phil Spicer. Um, and what I like about it is it does some kind of like it'll listen to the input and then do like some machine algorithm AI stuff to dial in the settings. Because honestly, I still haven't fully figured out compression, so I'm using
I don't think
tools.
anyone has.
Yeah, man, the compression's weird. And I know it's also something that your
They're
ear.
lying if they said they do.
Yeah, I think it's something where your ear can develop. You can start to hear compression over time, but it's like really difficult and it's seems very unnecessary in a lot of electronic music. Um, so what I like to do as a little hack is use this little AI one for now to kind of get an idea of what
Yeah,
the settings
presets
are. And
also I found are really good. Like
the
they're there for a reason.
one problem with
Even
the
like
presets
Ableton.
is
Mm.
because we're working with like attack times and release times. So it's like how fast something comes in and out. It's really
Mm.
dependent on the like BPM of the tune and
Ah,
like
okay.
what's playing like and how fast. So if it's like a like really fast like hi-hat or something or like just one hit every like quarter note, those things would highly influence what the actual attack and release time should be. So that could be a problem when you using presets with some compressors. That's why I like having this listen to the input and then like try to figure out the attack and release time for me.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So basically the idea is usually at this point what I'll do is like find like a little section of the song, like the loudest section of the song, so maybe here. And that's probably fine. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up this compressor and we're gonna press magic and we're gonna select drums. And lately what I've been liking is this punchy setting. So there's a couple different ones, soft, gentle, moderate, aggressive, punchy. Punchy I like because I my understanding of it is it's like kind of preserving the transients and the rhythm, so it's not squashing anything as much. It's trying to preserve that punchiness. So that's what I'm trying to make these moves as like like not mess things up as much as possible. So then what you
Yeah.
do is just play the music. Cool. So it just did its thing. It plays the music a bunch and then adjusts all the settings and the threshold and everything. Then the main thing that I'm gonna try to do here now is I want to like make sure that it's not like making things too much louder. It does have like a makeup gain. It's like it'll try to match the initial volume, the input volume, but I feel like it's still what happens with compressor is like it will bring up some of the quieter stuff and squish some of the louder stuff. So some some of like the subtle little top loops and stuff like that, little parts of the top loops might come up too much and we might need to like adjust things a little bit. So the main thing is trying to preserve like the main sound that we had in the first place. Um,
Yeah.
so what I would do is just like listen to it and just turn it off and on. I think that's not too bad.
It's
And
really
then some,
nice.
yeah, it's pretty
It
simple.
sounds more in your face at the same volume though, like not louder, but in your
Yeah.
face somehow. That's very nice. I
So,
think it's amazing. I don't
so then
know.
I usually do here is there's also this parallel knob. So what this is right now, it decided to have it at 50%. So it's dialing in the compressor like at only 50%. So it's not fully compressing the whole signal. Usually what I'll do is like, this is more of a I'm scared thing is I'll dial it back so maybe it's like 10 to 20% of the signals getting compressed. And then the next thing is it has this separate thing called a peak catcher, which is a separate little compression algorithm. And then what this can is useful for is it can kind of grab the peaks and bring them down a little bit. So anything that's hitting extra hard, it'll just compress just a bit of that. And it's another way to kind of reduce the dynamic range even more. So what I'll do is play it, turn it on, and then as it brings it down, little lines. You see that stuff coming from the top?
Yeah. Mm,
That's a visualization of the peaks that are getting
of
caught
the
and like
peaks.
brought
Okay.
down.
It works. It's very not strong, but what's the word? Like you can hear the peak, like you just did minus 0.7 and it had so much effect already.
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons is I think I fucked up and I need to hold on. I need to get it to
Oh, you need to press play. No worries, no worries, press
Yeah.
play.
There we go. And I'm gonna bring this back. Yeah, so one of the things I think is the reason is because the signal's quite loud. So actually, what are we at here? If I have a look at the drums. Yeah, it is pretty loud signal, but I think it sounds pretty good, fine. So let's keep going with it and see if it ends up becoming a problem. But let's go back and turn that back on, and we'll dial it, make it like maybe not too much. We're usually trying to make it like more subtle, something like that, maybe even like less. Okay, I think that's cool. So subtle stuff, I think, like,
Can you solo the drums and we hear it bypassed
Yeah.
and on?
on, and then off, off, and on.
Very nice.
Yeah, pretty subtle, and that's kind of what I'm going
Yeah.
for here.
like
I think if I was more smart at compression, I'd probably be more daring. But by mixing as we go, like the song sounds sick as hell, and like now I want to try to make it a little bit better, but I definitely don't want to make it sound worse.
Yeah.
It's kind of
This compressor is not free, right?
I think I got it for free.
Okay.
But I think it's worth checking out because, like, yeah, I could spend 20 years learning compression. I feel like I'd still never learn it, so I'd rather just fucking use it. Use this. Anyways, then the next thing that we're running into is a clipper. There's a free version of this clip called Cake Clip Zero. I think the 3 one just gives a little bit more visual information. I think they're both pretty good though. But the idea here is this is gonna basically just be clipping all the like off the tops of all the transients, so we can see it here. These peaks here. Yeah, these peaks, we're just gonna be like trimming off some of the tops of this, and it's just gonna be reducing the dynamic range a little bit more. So basically what I would do is I am basically gonna just bring down the threshold here. So it's gonna be figuring out where the beginning of the clipping starts, and I'm watching the clipped area here, aiming for about a decibel of amount clipped. So it's just like very subtle amounts here. You can click it to like reset it. Oh my gosh, probably not too bad. Just something like that. So it's pretty subtle stuff. It's just small. The idea is I got it from my buddy Zach Adam, like a subtle compressor setting and a subtle clipping setting here on each of these groups, and then like a couple of subtle settings here means that no one clipper or compressor is working too hard, and it can help things sound a little bit like more natural and just better. So then I'm gonna throw in, I'm just gonna do one K clip on the kick drum. Something like that. And then let's move over to the bass. So we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna go magic, bass, punchy, start. Nice. Bring it to the parallel back. Beat catcher. And then what do we got? Melodic stuff. Actually, let's do
Can you
vocals.
solo and bypass the bass? I just want to hear the difference with it.
On, off. On, off.
Very subtle, but very nice. Like
Yeah,
perfect.
very subtle stuff. And then let's do vocals. We're gonna grab these two. Turn that off, and turn on the compressor. Reset that, and then let's go magic vocals. I'm gonna keep it on punchy. Sure. Bring back the parallel. Bring down the peak capture thing. Okay, clip. Reset the clipper. Bring this down. It's probably okay. And then let's do the melodic shit. Turn on the compressor thing. Reset this. Let's go magic. Synths and keys. Let's do punch again. Okay. Bring the parallel up. Add the peak catcher. And then the last thing, what I've been doing a lot lately, this is sick as hell. I love this. We're gonna go add this thing called track spacer. We're gonna put it in between the compressor and the clipper. We're gonna set the sidechain to the vocal. And then now what we can do is make it so it's only looking around like the mids and highs. And what this is going to do, it's going to listen to the vocal, and when the vocal's frequencies it's going to duck those frequencies in the melodic group only when the vocal is present. So it's a way for it to like move out of the way of the vocal like very naturally.
It's a side chain, basically, right?
Exactly, yeah, like an EQ sidechain. Sick as hell.
I feel like we should also hear it in 105 to 121 because that's where there's more melodic and less vocal. Like
Yeah, let's hear that here.
the choppy vocals.
I think something like that sounds pretty good. Okay, and that's kind of the group bus stuff. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the mastering strip here. So this has actually been on the whole time. I just had it disabled. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go magic. I feel like this one I'm always like unsure about, but I think I want to do drums because I want to like make sure we're not squashing the nice punchiness of the drums here. We'll just go punchy and we'll say start. And I'm gonna bring the parallel away. I don't want it doing too much here, like 10%. And now what we're gonna just do is we're gonna do a clipper, trying to get about a decibel clipped. Boom. And then I run into this thing called Gullfoss. It's supposed to be like a sound good plugin, basically. I think it's really subtle what it does. It's supposed to like recover some of the high end or like any of the elements that we aren't balanced good, and then it can also tame some of the like any elements that we've added mixed too loud. So it can be kind of like a nice way to correct some of the imbalances that we did in the mixing process. It's so subtle, like I probably wouldn't even spend money on it. It's also like $200 or something. And now we're gonna get into like the limiting. So this one is set to true peak limiting is off, and then the style is transparent. So we're like almost using it as like almost another clipper, almost in a way. But again, what we're looking for is about a decibel of signal clip. Actually, I want to see what that's sounding like. It's gonna be loud as hell, actually. We're already pretty good. I usually like to end it on like -9 lefts, but that's not too bad. And then another decibel clip here. Actually, I'm gonna skip that because we don't really. Sometimes I'll do a clipper in between if I need to get it louder, but we're already at like. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. And this is, yeah, we have like this is pretty loud. So I'm actually gonna bring this all down a little. I don't want it to sound too clippy or distorted or oversaturated. But usually it's about a decibel of gain reduction I'm looking for. And then on the last one, we will play between aggressive and modern for the style. And true peaks limiting is on. And this time we're looking for about another decibel of gain reduction something like that. And then for the lufts there, kind of looking for like around like -9 is not bad. And then let's switch between aggressive and modern and decide which one we like. You have a preference? I kind of like modern a little bit more.
I'm saying modern also, yeah. Like
Okay, sick.
the aggressive one feels too distorted somehow.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I'm gonna actually go into the drums and bring down the compressor a little bit. And let's go to the clipper because I feel like it's mostly the drums that are sounding still a little bit too crispy. So we'll bring down the drums a little bit. Okay. Cool. That's actually pretty much it, though. That's a look at the group processing and then like that final mastering